And welcome in, guys, to Uncharted Horizons. This is episode 12. We did an episode last night, if you missed it, on horror games, and Isaac joined us. It was a lot of fun. We talked about all kinds of stuff, including the dichotomy of Goombas. We are joined tonight by Nicole, of course, the best co-host a person could ask for, sporting a sweet Halloween spider sweater there. And Ben, who is not only my good friend and roommate, but also the host of his own channel, Bonded by Horror. You can see the sweet little skull logo up here. You can find him on Twitch. I believe, is it just Bonded by Horror, or is that the actual name of the Twitch channel?
That goes through Scrooge Champ. We go
okay.
through my direct Twitch. Simple plug. Don't worry about it. And then and then it goes up on the YouTube page, Bonded by Horror.
Okay, got it. So there you go. Well, when we tweet the recap of the show, I'll tweet out the link so you guys can check them out. They do all kinds of horror stuff, long form like discussions with co-hosts about horror movies and stuff, and they go in depth on individual movies. So it's definitely worth checking out if that's your kind of thing. So thank you so much for joining us this evening. And yeah, if you guys saw by the title, we're pretty much two topics tonight, one being the Silent Hill Showcase, which happened earlier, and then we're going to just dive right into our favorite Halloween and/or horror movies. Dave, thanks so much for the subscription. How's everyone doing? I've been talking for 2 minutes now. What's going on? How's everybody doing today?
Doing good. Started Plague Tale yesterday, and played like the first chapter, and then stopped.
Oh no!
So excited to start playing that.
I've just played through the first, so it feels pretty much the same so far. I haven't really got into like the nitty gritty of it, but I'm very disappointed with how it looks on Series S.
Yeah, I heard it looks pretty rough on the Series X. So, you know, if you're going to the Series S, then they kind of had to throttle it a little bit, because apparently it's like frying like good PCs. So
but I don't understand why. So like both.
It's all the rats.
Yeah, it is all the rats. PS5 and the Series X are running at. They're also running at 30 frames, and they're running at a little bit of resolution than Series S. But I just played through the PS5 version of Plague Tale: Innocence, which was at 60 frames per second. So going from PS5 at 60 frames a few weeks ago to this is just like so jarring. And the entire first segment of the game, not spoilers, is just in like broad daylight. They were just like, it's sunny, and it looks so bad. The overexposure, like you can't see anything. And I've played with all the settings, and it's just bad. So I'm like, it's like kind of not making me want to play, but I also don't want to. Yeah,
go ahead.
No, I was just saying. I was like thinking about buying it on PS5, but I'm like, that's so silly when I can just play it on Game Pass. So I'll decide. I'll see if I want to stick through it.
I think the rat thing is actually, like, there's some legitimacy behind that, too. They said something about the functionality. They can render, like, 30,000 plus rats at a time. I haven't played the game, so I don't know.
It can't handle that many rats
much about it. But I do want to play it, and I know both games are relatively short. I mean, that's a shame that it's struggling on Xbox, and we talked about this earlier today. Like, I don't know if it has to do with them, like, not designing games to the full capacity of, like, the current gen and still focusing on past gen stuff because it's available on other stuff. But then if it's running like shit on the Series S and the Series X as well, that raises all kinds of other questions about, like, what's going on and why is it, you know, functioning.
Okay, if you can make your previous game run at 60 frames per second for an update, like, why didn't you take the time to make sure that this ran at 60 frames? It's just weird. But neither did Gotham Knights, so.
Gotham Knights is one I was a little excited about, actually, and I think, Ben, you might have actually mentioned that, too, at one point, being one you were kind of interested in, but that announcement and, you know, associated lack of effective playability is probably going to hurt the interest for some people there.
Depends. Most hardcore fans won't really mind. Because, you know, at the end of the day, it's still the game. It's just like, you know, do you want to see it in nice, pretty 30 frames? Or do you want to see it in its, like, at least stable, able to be played 30 frames? So it just happens. It's a lot of nerd shit. Just say, you know, play the game. And if you like it, then you like it. But at the end of the day, you're really playing Plague Tale for the story.
Yeah.
You're not there
what I'm there for.
This, like, major, grandiose graphical journey. So, you know, I'm still excited for it. Better not do this with God of War. God damn it.
That's true.
Right.
Experience it.
I can't imagine God of War being 30 FPS. I don't think that would be the case, especially because of how that's looked. Thanks so much, Brian, for popping on, by the way. He said, I haven't played yet myself, but I saw some people posting that the new Plague Tale looked great. I have not seen that post anywhere yet, but maybe there's some people in the blind community that have been playing, and I'm definitely in favor of inclusion. Isaac also posted a message that got auto-chatted.
Yeah, I'm dying at
said,
his
I've
message.
just been spanking my meat to Overwatch, so I haven't really been able to play too much. And,
Uncharted Horizons used add permitted terms spanking my meat.
that's fair. I mean, listen, if you want to spank your meat here, you can.
Oh my god.
That's definitely going to be a clip-worthy.
It's the buff to Diva's ass. That's what
the whole Diva thing is so weird to me. They were talking about it last night, how like it took them like less than 3 days to crack the rendering thing or whatever is needed to design their own models, and
of her jiggly ass physics.
some people have way too much time on their hands, I think. And like I said, I'd like to see something for Torbjorn or Reinhardt or something just a little bit more creative, because certainly it can't just be the hammer. That's that large. But anyway, moving into our primary topic, unless there's... Yeah, that was the joke. Thank you for the explanation.
No problem. That's what I'm here for.
Today was big because Konami did the Silent Hill showcase, and I've never played a Silent Hill game. I'm definitely a little bit familiar with it. One of my best friends is a huge fan of the series. I know that it's been a long time since there's been any Silent Hill content, and there's been rumors of a remake for a while, but they didn't really give us anything. So today they announced there were 4 trailers revealed, and I've gotten a chance to watch all of them, and I think you guys said you're also a little bit caught up on them, so I thought, just given the topical nature of this and how excited everybody was, it would be good to maybe jump into that for a minute before we get into the primary thing. So, the first one is Silent Hill Ascension, which looks like it's going to be some kind of online Telltale with maybe like interaction with co-op. I don't really know. It was kind of hard to gauge what was going on, but what do you guys think of the trailer? Nicole, did you get a chance to check that out?
I didn't watch any of the trailers just because I didn't, but I was following along online with what they were. I had pulled Eurogamer's quote here if you want me to read what they said it was.
Yeah, by all means.
So it's from Eurogamer. Ascension is described as a live, real-time interactive series in which players watch together as the story plays out. You can change outcomes and be part of scenes. There are a handful of companies involved with this one, including Genvid, J.J. Abrams' Bad Robot Games, Dead by Daylight developer Behavior, and DJ2 Entertainment, and it's expected to come out next year. So I'm pretty excited for this because I'm a fan of J.J. Abrams. I like his work so far. But also, Dead by Daylight, I believe that's a game you play too, so they're on the team for devs.
Yeah, Dead by Daylight's really fun. I've been super into it. I know he streams it a lot on his channel too. I don't know too much about Dead by Daylight's story, and if this seems like it's going to be an interactive series that plays heavily into story, then I can't really comment too much on that. But from a interest perspective, and certainly people that have the mind for horror, I could see that being good. Did you have any thoughts on this one, Ben?
The main thing that stuck out to me was that Behavior was behind it, or was also backing it as well. I don't know exactly who's working on it, but what I do like is they clearly showed a big brooding thing that definitely looks like a suspect for a new killer in Dead by Daylight. That's what I care about. That big hulking monster with this huge weapon kind of looks like Oni a little bit, but that's what I care about. Clearly it would be cool, and they showed the lead designer, I think, of Dead by Daylight in the trailer. If I remember right, I'm probably wrong, but that's what I'm looking forward to. So more Dead by Daylight shit for me.
Yeah, J.J. Abrams did The Rise of Skywalker and The Force Awakens, and I'm a big fan of both those movies, so...
Did he...
As long as you're not a fan of The Last Jedi, we're fine.
Last Jedi was pretty bad.
I don't have any strong opinions about The Last Jedi. I like all of the Star Wars movies. But no, I wouldn't put that one on my favorites.
This is the killer, or the creature that he's referencing. That's a better graphic of it, and they only really kind of showed the silhouette, but it does look really cool. It does kind of look like the Lickers from The Last of Us, or the Clickers, whatever they are. I can kind of see that. Just an interesting note. It says it's going to be an interactive streaming series that will sort of be like, I guess, airing I don't know if it'll be airing live or if it'll be like
cool.
consistently going. But it does seem like you'll decide in groups, and you know, if there's anything that the world has taught us, it's putting things in the hands of the internet almost always goes extremely well. So I'm a little optimistic
about it.
It's
show, you know, but that tech isn't exactly completely new either. They have real-time voting for shows now, like America's Got Talent and stuff like that. So the idea, or like the concept of people doing things on their own and having like it poll together isn't that new, especially with like Jackbox and stuff. Like there's obviously servers that
Jackbox,
as long as you don't give them an open option, because
that's true.
You guys can look it up on your own if you want. You could get a new Mountain Dew flavor name.
Yeah, I heard about that.
Which, you know, you guys, I don't want to say it on the show, but you can look it up on your own for a good laugh.
They did, I know what he's talking about. They did have like a voting for a school name in a major city, and honestly, I don't remember which city it was. Schoolie McSchool. Well, no, that was one, but I believe they went with, there was also one about Hitler, and it was very much won the vote, and it just goes to show that like people as a whole suck, like just are bad. People are bad. Just a couple of comments quick. Glokage said, is it like Until Dawn or more like The Last of Us but with endings? Honestly, we don't really know enough at this point. Yeah, I would say probably neither. I think it's going to be more like a unique approach to something. I just don't know if it's going to be like self-contained stories, or if it's going to be like, you know, the game's consistently updating, or if it even is a game, or if it's just some kind of interactive. So it's exciting and it's neat, but it could suck. I mean, Konami doesn't exactly have a great track record with stuff that isn't slot machines and Yu-Gi-Oh! And honestly, I'm not sure they have a great track record with Yu-Gi-Oh! Either at the moment, so we'll see what happens. But it does look pretty cool. Well, I mean, that's my main area of expertise, and there's been plenty of fallout there. So hopefully the return to games and this effort that got put behind this will lead to something positive, especially for people that are fans of Silent Hill. Next was Silent Hill F, which is a really interesting one because they didn't show us a lot, but this one is a brand new game. It's the first Silent Hill sequel, quote unquote, in many years. It's set in the 60s, so it's certainly not a direct sequel to any existing game as far as we know, but the trailer was very open up. It just basically showed a girl walking through a field, and then of course ended with her face getting sliced off, and it was very kind of creepy, but in that Silent Hill fashion. I don't really know what to expect from it, but the trailer did a neat job of at least piquing my interest. I don't know if you guys had any thoughts on that one. Ben, as someone who's probably played Silent Hill and has a little bit more expertise, are you optimistic about it?
Here's a funny thing. This is a true story. I've never played a single Silent Hill game until today.
Really? Oh, did you buy it?
Yes. No, this is Dustin's, and I'm going to be streaming it right after the show.
Oh, I didn't know that, actually.
Advertised.
Well, thanks for
coming. You mentioned that.
So that's the first one, right? Or is that Silent Hill 2?
No, this is the first one. Silent Hill 2 is on PlayStation 2.
Oh, okay. I asked Dustin if I had to play Silent Hill.
I could play on PS1.
Can you?
Yeah.
Well, no, I couldn't stream it, but I could play it.
Scariest thing about that game is the PS1 graphics, Brian said. Well, PS1 graphics have a novel.
Some of them hold up.
Yeah, man. Silent Hill looks good. I'll be real. Especially, you get the spooky shit with the radio, and you just hear like all like the gargly, crunchy noises of the monsters and shit. It's really cool. It's really good.
Okay, Nicole, any thoughts on this? I know you didn't see the trailer, but no. Okay, fair enough.
This one didn't really. I mean, I'm sure it will, but.
In terms of Silent Hill F, the title alone is funny because if it's bad.
F's in the chat.
Yeah,
I've already seen that meme.
That writes itself.
Yeah.
So at least we have that. I'm hesitantly looking forward to it. Just like you said. Konami definitely has not had a good track record. The last original game they really made was besides the football games is Contra Rogue Core, and it was terrible. So you gotta look forward to it. It's more Silent Hill.
Yeah, I mean, I'm certainly open to seeing what it is. I'm curious. I haven't really had a chance to talk to Dustin, who's a good friend of mine, is a big, huge fan of the series. Too much about his thoughts on this one, and obviously the perspective of someone who has played all the games, having a brand new title to look into. Brian just mentioned in the comments too, this is actually being developed by the Resident Evil, the Reverse team. So there's Convern, which I think is supposed to say Concern. there. I don't know too much about Reverse. I I don't really even know what it is. I don't
It's
know
gonna be
if it's a
bad.
thing. Oh, okay, so maybe maybe it will, maybe it won't. I know there's DLC coming out for Resident Evil 8. I thought maybe those two things were related, but apparently
Picture
they're
Super
not.
Smash Brothers with all of the Resident Evil characters, and it looks terrible.
Oh, did people ask for that? That's
No.
all right.
Probably not.
No,
Okay.
definitely not.
Well, fair enough. So Silent Hill F releases. I don't even know if there was a definitive release date, but it is a direct sequel, and it will probably come out in Japan first, if I had to guess. May said, fun fact, my friend who is not a horror buff, but saw a tattoo spread and said there were some cool concepts on it. She thought Pyramid Head was the paper boat from It on a body. That was a lot to process.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
That's cool. I'm sorry about your friend's head injury. I'm kidding. It was a joke. It was just a joke. It's a good movie, too. It might come up later. Alright, and then Silent Hill 2, of course, is the remake we knew was coming, being developed by Bloober. It looks visually amazing based on what I've seen. I'm definitely excited to play it. I was told that you don't have to play Silent Hill 1 in order to be able to play 2 at all, which is cool, because I don't necessarily see myself diving into Silent Hill 1 at this time, but I didn't want to go into it like empty and not know anything. And I know one of the biggest appeals of the Silent Hill games is like the genuine kind of creepiness in the story, like in the game and in the world and in the atmosphere. And that was kind of the game, Nicole, that I thought of when I asked you and Isaac the other day about like atmosphere in a game and sort of like a spooky atmosphere that may not be like scary every second, but you're very like unnerved and it sort of puts you in there. So the trailer looks awesome. I'm really pumped. I think it looks good. I'm hoping it's not 30 FPS. But did you get a chance to see anything about Silent Hill 2? Do you think that's something that would interest you? And then, of course, Ben, what your thoughts are on that as well.
So I didn't watch the trailer for it yet. I thought you had to play the first one, so I think I was just avoiding it just in case for some reason. But I definitely want to play it. I mean, I will, now that there's a remake coming out. I feel like remakes are sure far away for me to, like, want and, like, have interest in an old game. But the Bloober team, I believe they did the Medium, which I did play on Xbox and finished, and I thought it was good. It wasn't the best thing ever when you're comparing it to other games, which I think it came out around the same time as Control, or there was something very comparable about them, and obviously Control was a much better game, but I think that the Medium was, like, good, and if Bloober has an IP like Silent Hill, and obviously they're just remastering this, or remaking it, they'll do a fine job with it, because they're pretty decent.
Interesting. Okay, I think it's a full remake, I think. I'm not 100% sure, but I was just looking at Bloober's site. They made Layers of Fear, and there's a Blair Witch game as well. But Ben, any thoughts on this? I mean, obviously, you're probably, if you optimistic about it? Think it's a day one purchase?
I mean, yeah, because honestly, as long as they just follow the same skeleton as someone has said, or blueprint, or whatever you want to call it, the game's already there. All they have to do is just enhance it a little bit, just remake it from the ground up. They don't have to add much. Granted, if they change things to make it a little more modernized, that's totally cool too. I didn't play Medium, but I've seen it. I have played Blair Witch. To be honest, wasn't really a fan. I don't really care for the essentially, for me, walking simulators in horror games like that. Amnesia's not that, but it's pretty good still. I really like Amnesia. Layers of Fear is really good for what it is. Obviously, it's a lower indie game, so you got to take it for what it's worth. But it's still a really good game for that. I'm optimistic, right? Still, if you haven't played Silent Hill 2, this is definitely your chance to get into the Silent Hill fandom as a whole. So if you dig this, then guess what? You're definitely gonna dig pretty much everything else. So definitely look forward to it. Plus, you get to see Pyramid Head and a Shiba Inu with a funny headset on his head. So what are you gonna hate?
Pyramid Head, fun fact, is actually the boat from It, just fixated on the head of a human. Yeah, I just heard that actually. I don't know if that's scientific yet, but we can research that, and when we get that and our Goomba results, we'll put those two up.
I did see a tweet earlier, which I don't have, so I can't quote it, but I did see that they are doing a pretty faithful adaptation. Like, they're not changing much because I think they were told they can't. I think they were like, no, just like remake this game. So I don't know if we'll see any new features with this one.
I don't know. I think a perfect example of a remake that's just flawless, while there's still a game you could go back and play, is the Resident Evil 2 remake. I mean, it's one of the best games I've ever played. And I know we went into this last night with the game stuff, and we're going to move on to the movies in just a sec. I was just like, Resident Evil 2 remake is awesome. Is there? I have one other one, but I thought it was just a documentary type thing. I didn't know if it was
No, you didn't talk about Townfall. That's the one I had
Townfall in the
for.
movie.
Oh, I
Yeah.
missed that then. Dustin told me 4 trailers, so I sought out
There
4
were 4
trailers,
trailers,
and
and
I
they
thought
announced
once
the
I had...
movie.
Because I had Silent Hill Ascension, I had Return to Silent Hill, which looked like a
That's the movie.
documentary. Oh, that's the movie. So Return to Silent Hill I had. That looks like it's basically a retrospective going back. I don't know if it's any, like, original...
It's a movie based around Silent Hill 2.
Okay.
They've already made 2 Silent Hill movies, oddly one of which is called Silent Hill 2. So they couldn't really call it Silent Hill 2, so they decided to call it Return to Silent Hill, which is totally fine. The first movie, which is funny, I actually almost put on my underrated because it's really good. Weird super gore fest, which is odd. Like the scene in the church is fucking awesome. Definitely watch it. You don't really get a good representation of Silent Hill, but it's a fun movie.
Yeah, my friend online, or friend in real life too, but he said that he really, I forget which movie, if there's 2, but he said he really liked the old Silent Hill movie, and he said it's something he still thinks about. So this one he's actually looking forward to.
Yeah, pretty much no one has seen Silent Hill 2 because it's really
Probably
bad.
not that one then.
I didn't even know it was a
I think that
thing.
one's just like a direct to DVD. I watched it just because like, I was like, I don't know, it was on something, so I just put it on. But the first one, for what it is, it's fun. It's a fun fucking hour and like 20 minutes movie. You sit there and like you just enjoy all the crazy shit that flies out the screen, and you get to see Pyramid Head, and Pyramid Head's cool. So
And it's kind of like Resident Evil, the original Resident Evil movie. It's not amazing or anything, but it's like a fun adaptation that's just kind of like goofy, and you just kind of get into it.
I definitely like it more than the OG Resident Evil movie.
Yeah.
But there are some great elements to both movies.
Okay. All right. Interesting. So I guess I missed one. So Silent Hill Townfall.
I do have notes for Townfall.
Yeah, sure. I just don't have a graphic for it because I guess
That's
I
okay.
goofed on that.
There's
but...
like a cool red logo, I'm pretty sure. But this was also, I think I pulled it from Eurogamer just so in case anyone wants to check what I'm saying.
Okay.
It's developed by Stories Untold and observation maker No Code alongside Annapurna Interactive. So Annapurna's great. If you never heard of them, you definitely have. If you look up the games, they publish a lot of things. The rest of their quote says, "This one remains something of a mystery. Expect more in the new year." But I'm very interested in this one just to see what it becomes because Stories Untold was very good. It's like an episodic horror adventure game. It's quite short and it's not very complex, but it's like a very good experience. So if you ever see Stories Untold on sale, I recommend it. And then Observation's another like adventure puzzle horror game, but you're in a space station, and it's one of those kind of games where you're like looking through footage and stuff to see what happened to the old crew. So both of those games are very cool. So the fact that that developer's working on this and it has like the Silent Hill IP, you know, you're gonna get like a pretty cool horror experience.
Honestly, I'll have to take a look at it. I missed this entirely, so I'll take a look at it. I did manage to find a logo quick while you were talking. Short Bus Party said,
rad.
yeah, but the lasers in Resident Evil. Well, that's true. There are a lot of... May said I simp for Pyramid Head. Well, that's unfortunate for Isaac that she simps for someone whose face is covered at all times.
Especially if it's Jessica Negri's Pyramid Head.
I did see that. That was interesting. I didn't really know how to feel about it, but it was interesting. And Brian said...
I know how you feel about it.
Brian said, I've had Observation forever and still haven't played. Well, I guess you probably didn't see that coming then.
Yeah, it's on Game Pass, or was, and I feel like it's on sale all the time, so...
Interesting. Okay, Silent Hill Townfall. I missed that, so thanks so much for picking that up, because I genuinely would have never seen it. I might check out Soma, actually, after you talked about it, because it looks like it's super cheap, so that may be one I do a playthrough of, and maybe even stream at some point over the weekend or something before the month ends, just a little Halloween streaming, so definitely one I'm looking at.
Brian says, yes, play Soma.
It's excellent. Yeah, we talked about it. Nicole went into detail about it last night, and I haven't looked up anything specific, because I feel like if there is a story element to it or something, I don't want to ruin that for myself. But it's definitely one, and I don't know, you seem to be pretty spot on with games that aren't Skyrim, so I feel like I'm going to take your opinion on that and see what happens. I kid, it's all
I heard she's a Skyrim fan.
She does like Skyrim a little bit.
Just
It made it to the top of our games bracket.
I was plotting my Skyrim tattoo the other day that I somehow don't have yet.
Really? I'm actually surprised.
It's Skyrim. Just like right here. It's Skyrim.
Could you get a Skyrim tattoo
again?
Could you get a Skyrim tattoo on your knee of an arrow? That'd be kind of
I
clever.
thought about
like,
that, but I feel
arrow.
like that's one that everyone has, you know?
That's true. May said Skyrim is good. I never said it was bad. I actually like it. I just think calling it in the conversation of the top of, cream of the crop sort of thing feels a little bit much
It
for me.
belongs there, but it's
Well,
okay.
you know what? Kimbini, thanks so much for the follow as well.
Sure.
I'm excited for the new one. That's the primary thing, right? Like, when does the new one come out? The new
In like
Skyrim.
10 years.
Yeah, right?
15 years.
It's going to be 30 FPS
Come on, you gotta
and
get
everything.
Skyrim out on everything else, man. You gotta get it on Super Nintendo and N64.
That would be interesting, Skyrim on
really
N64. Brian said next year? It comes out next year? I haven't heard anything about that.
No.
But, that seems
No
unlikely.
way.
Okay.
No.
So, that's Silent Hill. It definitely is one that I think is really exciting, and looking forward to seeing what's going on there. So as more details come out, I'm sure we can cover that in future videos and such. But let's jump into the top Halloween movies. So basically, this is pretty straightforward. We each picked our top 4 Halloween and or horror movies. And we're just going to go through them one at a time. So we'll all give our first one, second one, and whatever. And of course, Ben, since you're our guest, if you want to go ahead and go first, I will pop that up. And yeah, I've got it on the screen. So whenever.
Now this is why I'm laughing. I told them to you, but I didn't write them down. And my opinion is, oh, well, there it is. So now I don't even really have to laugh anymore.
Okay.
Yeah, man. So Evil Dead 2. I mean, it's Evil Dead. No, I'm just kidding. This is a movie. It's essentially Evil Dead 1. But now that Sam Raimi actually got a budget this time, he was able to make the movie that he actually wanted to make. I was torn between either this or Army of Darkness, just because, you know, what I like a little bit more. But then, you know, I came around and realized that, come on, man, Army of Darkness is not really a fucking horror movie by any stretch of the mean. It's a fantasy action movie by all accounts, with like some comedy in there. It's basically a Three Stooges movie, which I love. It's one of my favorite movies ever. But in all honesty, come on, you know, Evil Dead 2, it just hits every note on the head of like exactly what you want. It's got blood, it's got humor, it's just the OG, like, original fucking gore fest that you really want in a movie. Plus, it's got Bruce Campbell, and Bruce Campbell's, like, you know, the man. How can you deny a jawline that well defined, especially on like a 80-year-old man or whatever the hell he is now? I'm sure he can still break boulders with that thing. So, you know.
I forget his name in Doctor Strange, but he was in the Doctor Strange movie. He's selling
random Italian.
Yeah,
guy
but he had a
selling
name. It
hot
was like
dogs.
Papa Pizza or something like that. No, I've actually never seen any of the Evil Dead movies except Army of Darkness. But I know they made the remake a couple of years ago, right? Maybe like a long years ago back now.
Yeah, it's like a pseudo remake, and then they drop it on you at the very end. It's like, here's the twist. It's not really a remake. It's really good. Don't get me wrong. I actually really like it for what it is. That's another one where that was made during the time where like Eli Roth was really big, so they just kind of did like excessive stuff for the sake of being excessive, like the tree thing, which I didn't really care for. They kind of overdid that, like they did in Evil Dead 2, whatever. But you know, you get badass shit like it's raining blood, like it's Slayer, you know. So
I remember that.
You know, some cool shit. I really like it, but I'm excited and hesitantly waiting for the new Evil Dead movie.
There's a new one?
Yeah, it's supposed to take place in like New York or something, like in the city. I think it's like Evil Dead Uprising or something. I don't really remember off the top of my head. And to answer the question, no, I haven't played the game because I'd rather just play Dead by Daylight, which also has Ash Williams. So thank you.
Fair enough. Evil Dead Rise is what it's called, and it comes
Evil
out in
Dead Rise.
April of next year.
You know,
and it looks like Sam Raimi's actually
Noodle.
directing it as well. So, Nicole, have you
believe
seen any
so,
of the
yeah.
Evil Dead movies or no?
I am not.
Come on, what have you watched? God damn it, you've seen.
Oh, wait
Insidious.
till you see
What
my
is it?
pick.
I
Wait
wouldn't.
till you see my
Can we
picks.
see Halloween Town?
It's possible. I didn't tell him any of your picks because I think a few of them are amazing. And yeah, no, Evil Dead's
E.T. on there.
E.T.'s not even a horror
I'll
movie.
be so pissed.
But here, I put him in there for you. That way you have him if we need him. I kept the graphic in here just for the sake of
No.
brightening everyone's day every
Thank
once in a
you.
while.
That's
Picture
the
is...
graphic I'm here for.
I don't know if you guys follow us on Twitter at Uncharted Horizons. I found an ET pop I want to get for Nicole with Christmas coming up and everything else. So if you guys want to donate, we could give it as a community gift. It's like Elliot and ET, and I thought maybe we could...
Request
Like...
party in chat said E.T. was a scary ass alien. Thank
He
you.
wasn't, though.
He was.
They're in solidarity. It scared the shit out of me.
That's true. You did tell me
Thank
that.
you.
Yeah. All right.
Yeah, as a
Terrified
child,
me.
that shit's
Oh, it's
fucked
horrifying.
up.
Oh, but my Green
now I
Goblin
think
take
it's funny.
was extremely over the top, apparently. Even
I
though...
saw that in a GIF on Twitter the other day, and I wanted to send it to you so bad.
Yeah, well, I like sleeping, so please don't.
Oh yeah, Hocus Pocus is definitely another one.
Hocus Pocus. I don't know. All right, Nicole, you want to go ahead and give us your first movie here?
Like Ben said, I have to wait for it to pop up on the screen.
Oh shoot!
Oh, I did do Halloween Town.
You did.
Rest my case.
He asked me what you picked, and I didn't tell him any.
We've spent all October repeating ourselves, it feels like, so I went on, like, the traditional Halloween, and this is, like, what I watched as a kid, not what I watch now, or not what I think is the best Halloween movie, but I want to shout out Halloween Town. You know, I was not a Hocus Pocus person. I don't think I've ever even seen that, and at this point, I'm too scared, because the fan base is scary, so I'm just not going to watch that. But yeah, no, Halloween Town was good fun. I think there was like multiple movies, and of course, the further they went, the worse they got. But
4 of them, 5 of them.
Yeah, and I think they like changed actors. I don't know, but the first Halloween Town was pretty good. I think it's
all about the
a
taxi
good time.
driver.
Yeah.
He scared the shit.
Yeah.
He was another weirdly scared the shit out of me.
Yeah, he was like a skeleton guy, right? Yeah.
With the taxi hit.
Yeah, it was just a fun, part of the family's witches. Not all of them are. It's just a fun time. I don't think it holds up well today if it's your first time ever watching it, but, if you wanna, go for it.
Okay. I've never seen it, actually. I don't know anything about it. So you say it's like a family of witches. I imagine it's like a somewhat spookier version of, like...
Yeah, it's like
Witches of
Halloween
Waverly
Town's
Place.
in a different dimension, kind of, and the main characters, their family, come from witches, and they try to keep it from them, which obviously never goes to plan. You can't hide it from your kids. They will find out.
Okay.
But I'm pretty sure, like, the brother isn't one because it's, like, witches or female. I don't know. That's just, like, off the top of my head.
Yeah,
I don't think he
those
ever
are
gets
warlocks.
powers. Right, yeah, sorry.
right,
Those are
sorry.
warlocks. I think he might get powers eventually, but yeah, the whole first movie is about, like, the oldest daughter, like, saving her family and, coming into her magic and stuff.
It's a coming-of-age movie, but it's, like, for Halloween. Come on, what are you gonna hate about it? I joke,
You got the
but
bad guy,
yeah.
you got magic,
The bad guy, the makeup on it was actually pretty badass. Back in the day, for like what they had for a budget, was it Solomon or whatever the hell the guy's name was? I don't know.
No
Some
idea.
Stupid. His name is in the second trailer. Wizard of Waverly Place is obviously the best. Halloween
Yeah, but
movie.
it got flagged for inappropriate language because I was called a pleb. Now we've added pleb and beating your meat to the channel list of allowed topics
Wizards of
today.
Waverly Place is a great show.
It is a pretty good show. I used to watch it. Actually, my friend Dave, who's in the chat right now, we used to watch it back. We were like, I don't know, 15.
That
so
movie
it was
had no
around
right.
these.
This small tangent. That movie had no right being that good. If you remember the movie, where
Is
they
that
were
the
like
one where they have the
competing, where
Wizard
like
Cup?
one of them, one of them would lose their magic forever. Like, why did they do that?
I don't
That's
know.
so dark.
Hey, well, I mean, I honestly... I'm pretty sure they came back and did something for that show not too long ago as well. I remember, what's his name? David Tyree or David Henry or whatever being on there. But that was a good movie. I've never seen Halloween Town. Maybe it's one to check out. I will say quickly, I do agree with you on the Hocus Pocus thing. The fandom is terrifying because you say one negative thing about the movie and all of a sudden they're swarming around you.
Yeah, I'm sure
but
it's good. It's just too late to join.
It's just...
Yeah, but it's so weird. Hocus Pocus 2 came out and all their chirping just randomly stopped.
Yeah,
apparently
almost like
it
it
was
was
bad.
bad.
So weird.
My girlfriend is a
Happened.
huge fan of Hocus Pocus. She loves the first movie, and even she said she did not care for the second movie. So it seems like it's universal. If even the Hocus Pocus fan base is like, nah. I mean, they look super old, and like I know they are older, but like it just didn't have the same charm there. So I don't know. The actress who played Marnie and the actor that was the son of the main villain ended up married, is what the Glow
Shut
Title said.
up.
I'm not sure what that means.
That's so cool.
Who's Marnie?
Marnie's the main actress and or the main kid
character.
in Halloween Town.
Oh,
No
okay.
way.
That's interesting.
I'm like fervently searching for this now.
May said, me, a fan of Hocus Pocus. Listen, I'm not going to divulge into another conversation at this point, May, but I know you're a big BTS fan. They just announced that they're going to be, like, breaking up for a few years to go serve in the military or something,
Wow.
which is interesting. That was all over the
Bring
news.
their butter.
I don't know. Apparently, Korea is set to lose billions of dollars by them not touring, but it's just sort of a thing where it's like everyone in South Korea has to serve at least a year and a half. Imagine that. Imagine...
Calabar. That was the villain's name. Sorry.
No,
That's just
you're
a cool
okay.
name.
It's definitely a warlock or wizard name, that's for sure.
Hey, he's also a character in the Elder Scrolls, for whatever that's worth.
Huh.
That's ironic.
There you go. I don't know which game. Somerset, whatever that means. Anyway, so they meet up to film TikToks and ended up liking each other. Well, that's sort of wholesome in a way, if not indicative of how this generation sort of goes. But okay, Halloween Town. I'll have to check that one out. I have not seen it, but I've heard good things.
So Disney Plus.
For me, I did pick a few varying ones, but of course I did have to go with Halloween 2018. I do think this is one of just the overall best horror movies that I've ever seen personally. I did watch the original after seeing this, and I was surprised by how well the original holds up. It's extremely well shot. It's very, very good, and still has a lot of tension to this day. I like the shirt. I can't see it full. Oh, okay, I see it. It's got the glove and everything.
Japanese for I think I like Halloween.
Oh, all right. I like it.
Last time I checked, yeah.
This movie was great. It's one of the rare examples of a horror movie, like, sort of having somewhat of a story that it plays on, and what I mean by that is, like, Jamie Lee Curtis's character is actually, like, relevant and kind of a badass, and, like, it's not just about Michael, even though clearly it's more about Michael than anything else. But these movies, this was great. I thought the sequel was good. I made my thoughts known, in non-spoiler fashion last night on Halloween Ends, so I won't, beat that drum again. But this movie is just a classic. I think it does such a good job following up the original, and yeah, it's definitely one I recommend to anyone that's a fan of horror. I mean, even if you haven't seen the original, but really you should go back and watch the original first because it just makes it a lot better.
Well, yeah, seeing as how this is literally just a sequel
to
the first one. I sure hope you see the first one first.
I feel like if you don't see the 1978 one, which again, everybody should, but if you don't see it, it's not like you're going to go into this movie totally blind. It's pretty easy to piece together what happened, But again, definitely watch them both because I think it's a great movie that deserves to be seen. So that's my first one. Halloween 2018.
I just wish Halloween Ends ended, spoiler, this didn't happen, with Michael and Laurie finally embracing with each other and making sweet, sweet love on that counter, just like I wish they would, because that's the ending we all deserve, and for some reason, that's the ending we did not
someone
get.
probably made that video somewhere.
100%.
I did.
There's definitely. I found
Michael
out.
And Laurie.
I found out recently that we talked about this with when May was on the show. That people ship Deku and Bakugo from My Hero. You gonna tell me people ship that,
right.
which is a weird ship?
Awesome.
You're gonna tell me that people don't ship Michael Myers and Laurie? That's definitely a thing. Kaluzion just subscribed. Thanks so much for the subscription. And it looks like Short Burst Party actually gifted a sub, so thank you so much for that. We super appreciate it. Yeah, no, I mean, that would have been probably something different than Halloween Ends, but again, we didn't get there, and we need fan fiction for that, so. Moving on, Ben, you want to tell us about your next pick, which I'm going to pop up on the screen for you now, since...
Yeah, please give me my prompt so I can figure out what...
Yeah, you're good.
Evil Dead 2 again?
No.
Oh, that's my favorite. This one. You should have kept this one last. This is the greatest horror movie ever created. I am not making this up. Every single bit of this is true. If you watch Bonded by Horror, I literally mention this almost every time. I wish I wore that shirt today. Damn it. I don't know why. I just love this movie. I mean, I do know why. I went to go see this shit when I was a kid, and for some reason, my brain went through all of the boring bullshit of these humans just talking to each other, and the second Freddy and Jason start fighting, it's the best 20 minutes I've ever seen in my entire life. You're there for the end, you're not here to see the bullshit of the teenagers figuring out Freddy and who Jason are. No one cares. Literally no one cares. You're there to see these two horror icons duke it out, and I promise if you haven't seen this movie, they do not disappoint.
No.
Kind of like you get two horror icons with Laurie Strode and Michael Myers, those two fight,
yep.
and it sucks. These, it does not let up, and it's pretty great. I can't recommend this movie enough, but it sucks because you kind of have to be, a fan of the both series, and then if you see this movie and you don't really know who the two are, it's like, yeah, it's fine. It's just it's two old weirdos just hacking at each other.
That's true. It's fair.
Don't worry. There's some weird shit to it. Why does Freddy know kung fu? Why can this random old man, this old pedophile, why can he randomly just dodge, attacks and high kick with his legs? I don't know, man. It's a fun movie. That's all I can really say. I can't praise this movie enough. It's just fun. This is what horror is to me. It's this crazy amalgamation of stupid shit flown at you from the screen, and that's why I picked Evil Dead, and that's why I picked Freddy vs. Jason, because it's just fun. Shut the hell up, and it's funny because I just talk shit about Halloween ends, but shut the hell up and just enjoy the ride. Yeah. That's it. I'm done, man.
I'm with you. I love this movie. I sign off on everything you said. I watched this before I saw any of the other series movies, and it was really fun. I mean, I had a basic idea of who Freddy and Jason were, but fantastic movie. I would love to see some kind of cinematic universe with horror villains where they cross over and fight each other or fight whatever it is. Like, that would be awesome. I would definitely like that. But this movie's great. Highly, highly recommend to anyone that hasn't seen it. It is a good time. Okay, Freddy versus Jason. That's a high bar to set. Nicole, your second one is up, and it is
still Halloween Town, as you can see.
Loading.
Ah, got it.
She picked it twice. That's
she
crazy.
picked this one is a spooky follow up for sure.
The best one ever.
That's actually funny. It's our house now.
Yes. See, you know what it's about. I'm so glad you guys support this choice because even Braden said he liked it.
I do love this.
I'm
this
a man
is
of
great.
culture.
It is a great.
This is culture, and I feel bad that some people genuinely have never heard of Mickey's House of Mouse or like any of the movies. They have a fun Christmas one too, which we'll definitely talk about when we get to December.
That's my.
But yeah, I did Mickey's House of Villains, which I actually never watched the individual shows that they put out. I'm pretty sure that's a thing. I think they put out like shorts under there, but I never saw those for some reason. My mom just had the DVDs of these that we watched all the time.
It was awesome.
See? Yeah, and Disney Plus hasn't put any of this shit up there. They've put like some random shorts from the Christmas and the Villains one up, but like not as like their movies and not as like a House of Mouse section, which I think is just silly, and I don't know why they haven't done it yet. Anyway, so yeah, House of Mouse, Mickey owns this like theater, and he has like all of the Disney characters, all of the villains, they all come to watch him put up these shorts. So throughout the movie, you're just watching a bunch of different Mickey shorts. They're all Halloween or horror themed. Some of them are pretty old, which is cool. And then, yeah, there's like an overarching plot. The villains take over. And then by the end of it, the good guys, you know, they kick them out. But no, the cool part's just getting to see all like the horror shorts. There's one where like Donald won't give his nephews any candy. So then a witch helps them curse him to do so. It's just like stupid fun shit like that. But I literally watch this every year around Halloween time, and I will continue to do so.
I have actually not seen this in a long time, but I do remember loving it, and I wish we should get more original content with some of these like characters, like Disney, even if they're just like shorts.
Yeah, you think they would? Like they have the new Mickey Mouse cartoon show that has a horrifying animation style that I'm getting used to, but it's just untapped potential with their like iconic IPs, you know?
Yeah, the House of Mouse was obviously for kids, but it was geared towards kids that were probably closer to like the 8 to 10 range versus the most recent shows, which are more like the 3 to 5 range, and they're all weird. Like they had the weird animation.
For you, so.
Well, yeah, sure, but they had the weird animation. Yeah, it's definitely at my brain level most days. But I don't know. This is good. I still want to go back and watch this, and I love the Mickey Christmas, like Mickey's Once Upon a Christmas and some of those other specials. Like,
side note, my friends and I did a poll of best Disney movie of all time, and that somehow won.
One? That's a strong one. That's a more I love it.
We were doing it like unbiased, but we somehow all still agreed that was number one.
Okay.
We were ranking them like A tier, S tier, and stuff, and that was up.
I mean, if we're grading it based solely on like Mickey Mouse related properties, I would definitely put Once Upon a Christmas up. Ben and I actually used to watch that every year. Like we'd randomly watch it every year. We didn't do it. We couldn't do it anymore. I still have a love in my heart for that movie and can quote almost everything. But I don't think we watched it last year. The first year we moved in, we did. But I mean, it's all sort of somebody's burning a harem. Like the whole. I know the movie front to back, but it's phenomenal and I love it. And the second one is so bad. He's just Mickey sells his harmonica and then Minnie sells her necklace.
That's
and
literally
they're
what my
both
friend's
just
talking
sitting
about,
there
and I
like,
will cry thinking about it.
Oh, what am I supposed to do? A Goofy falls off the roof, but just a phenomenal. I love Once Upon a Christmas. I do. I think it's absolutely. I can't do it every year anymore. It's just
That's so
it's
sad.
so predictable.
You guys are too old.
But I love it. Listen, you're 4 years younger than me and 3 years younger
and my
than Ben.
love for that will never die.
Okay. All right.
But yeah. Anyway, you guys should go watch House of Villains. I don't know where. I'm sure someone put it online
it's on
illegally
Disney
because
Plus.
I have to. Oh, is it? Okay, maybe that one is because I remember looking for something and it wasn't there.
Let's see.
Hopefully they've added it since then.
It is not on Disney Plus, actually.
Is it not?
It is on Amazon
how's it
Prime Video for $10. It's on. You can rent it on Google Play or Redbox for $18.
Oh.
So
There's
those are the
some
only
shorts
ones.
available from it, but
Yeah,
I know
that
I've
makes
seen it
sense.
recently.
Actually, there was an article posted recently that said it's going to be coming to Disney Plus at some point, but it will not be in the year 2022. So.
why?
So,
Like,
I
what
don't
are they
know.
doing over there?
It says something about Disney might have to rework the show because of changes in technology and perhaps things like content. I don't really know what that means, but yeah, it's available for purchase on Amazon, but it's not available anywhere else. So that's where that's
Great.
at. Definitely recommend. Okay. For me, my second one is Zombieland. This is obviously more of a horror comedy than it is like a horror, but I adore this movie. I think it's just one of the most fun kind of zombie genre movies that I've ever seen. It's obviously got a stacked cast. I saw this movie for the first time in theaters, but it was like a couple weeks before it came out. Like my uncle had gotten like preview tickets and we went to see it, and I just loved it like right from the get-go. It's very funny. It's like got a lot of like witty humor. Woody Harrelson's pretty much great in everything that he does, and Emma Stone is obviously it was like a celebrity crush when I was in high school and or growing up. So and granted, she's probably like not that much older than me, but anyway, I love this movie. I think it's really funny. It was kind of a unique take. It not the first movie to do comedy with zombies. Obviously, you have things like Shaun of the Dead, Return of the Living Dead, and other things like that. But just a really, really good movie, and I think it's kind of underappreciated, but also just really solid. So, big fan of Zombieland. I think it's awesome.
Zombieland's great.
Love it.
I always quote double tap. Like in anything now. It's ruined me. Anytime someone like kills something in a movie, I'm like, oh, don't forget to double tap, and like sure enough the thing's like alive.
I do remember the scene
yeah,
with the Twinkies.
It's one of those movies that, you know, obviously was not afraid to poke at the cliches. Hence like the double tap thing, which, you know, is really funny. Because they just hit the nail on the head, especially with a zombie movie. Dude, it happens, like, that's a big cliche. Every fucking time, you always gotta, come on, just kill it. Just make sure he's dead. Like Michael Myers.
Yeah, basically.
Just make sure he's dead, dummy. I don't see the issue here. You know, just stab him in the head 500 times. That's fine.
That's a fair point. I do like it. I of course, Bill Murray's cameo in that movie was fantastic as well, so.
What's your biggest regret? A Garfield, maybe?
Great movie. I never saw the second one. I was scared that it was going to be bad, so I never watched it.
One of the Chris Hemsworth's brother is in it. I think.
Liam?
I don't know, man.
Oh, there might be another Hemsworth. I'm not really sure.
That's why I
Chris,
just know one.
Liam.
Yeah, one of the brothers is in it, and that's the only thing I know about it. And he's good looking, so that's all I care about.
Hey, all the Hemsworth brothers have the gene I wish I could have been born with. Moving on, though, to your next one.
Damn. Well, I guess they're... which one? You picked one and then you switched to another.
I went in order that you gave them to me. Sorry, but whatever you're seeing now should be what's there for our podcast
So
audience.
Return of the Living Dead?
Yes.
Okay, Return of the Living Dead. I could genuinely watch this movie every day and be totally content with my life. I guess, you know, we just talked about Zombieland, so I guess it makes sense that we talk about another genre-defining or genre shake-up, I guess, with Return of the Living Dead. This is the movie, in my opinion, I think actually as a whole, that cemented the idea that zombies wanted brains. And they talked, they ran. There was a lot of stuff that, you know, that they did in this movie that really changed up zombie movies going forward as a whole. Plus, you get the, you know, the iconic shit like Trash, which, whoo baby, oh my god! Once you see Trash, you'll be let's just say you'll be a very happy man. That's for damn sure. Tarman, which come on, that's like a makeup marvel at this point. Like how they were able to do that in the super low budget that they had at the time. That was another one. Wish I had my shirt of it to rep. I should have just kept all these shirts on.
Just like kept taking
them off in order.
I have a shirt for each of these movies, not even like on purpose. It's just for the 4 that I picked. Yeah, it's just so good, man. The soundtrack as a whole, it's just like it's so 80s, but it's so awesome. this is the movie that for me defines like 80s horror as a whole. Like just cheesy, it's fun, you know, it's scary enough, but thankfully it keeps that cheese in to keep you in to be like, oh, this is silly, and it's fun to put on for like a good Halloween time. Plus, it's a zombie movie, so you know you could always have fun with a zombie movie. Don't watch the other ones. There's I think there's part 2 and part 3. Don't worry about those; they're bad. But yeah, Tarman, he's amazing, and every single person should watch this movie because this is what a zombie movie should be.
Okay. Return of the Living Dead is never seen it, but
do you want to party? And to make the best quote, I think about me, this is not a costume, it's a way of life or a lifestyle.
It's actually a hoodie that you're wearing currently.
It's a lifestyle. It's not a costume.
I believe you, but it's a hoodie. Nicole, your third one as we move away. Return of the Living Dead. Check that out.
Insidious. Yeah. So I talked about this, I think, 2 weeks ago, or maybe like 3 weeks ago now, but 2 episodes ago. So we were talking about horror movies, and I'm not as well versed in horror movies like Ben is. Ben obviously has way better taste and has watched way more than I have, but I've watched like the mainstream bullshit that's out there. Yeah, Insidious is a good one. I think, you know, it's got your classic jump scares. I think it has a pretty cool story and like vibe overall. It's very like unsettling throughout most of it. And it ends up continuing into a very good second movie, which just makes the first one even better. So if you've only seen the first one, rewatch at least just the end of it, and then you can go watch number 2, and then like it just kind of ties everything together and does a really cool thing with the story that I wasn't expecting. But yeah, it's a good one. When I was preparing for today, I looked up the director's James Wan, which I probably knew at one point but forgot. He's done like all of the Saw movies, all of the Conjuring movies, all of the Annabelles, so it seems like the guy knows what he's doing. But
I made Malignant.
Malignant as well. Yeah. I almost said Conjuring, but I kind of felt like that was, I don't know, I feel like Conjuring's also very good, but I didn't feel like talking about that one because I feel like everyone mentions the Conjuring.
No, that's fair. Also, Braden, you fucking dope. It's Tiny Tim. He's in the movie.
In what
song.
movie? Yes. I hated that. That scene made me so uncomfortable. For some reason, I thought his name was totally Tim. Yeah, no, I remember the SpongeBob episode, but I remember that's the Sif.
That scene is so terrible.
Oh, I hated it.
Great, and I like didn't realize it was Insidious until you told me you were watching that part.
Yeah,
it's like the movie does it a few times where it'll have something like terrifying in the background, but like you might not have noticed it.
Yeah.
But like if you did notice it, you're like, oh shit! Like the little boy from that scene is like standing up against like the coat rack at one point, and like that's not what the camera's focusing on. And then like it goes into him like running through the halls, but like he was in a scene that you might have missed, and it's very very nerve-wracking when you're like, oh my god, there is somebody standing right there.
Yep, that was good. I watched Insidious a couple weeks ago. I'm actually watching the second one tomorrow, so
yay!
Some thoughts on
I'm
that.
excited to see what you think.
Yeah, I mean, hopefully it doesn't have any Tiny Tim in it, but that's just sort of unsettling.
No, I'm kidding.
Insidious is one of those great movies, and I have to weirdly make this comparison. They're not the same at all. Like Hereditary. So Hereditary is one of those movies where it's scarier the second time you watch it, actually, because once you see the end and once you see what the whole movie is, then you get a feel of like, oh shit, I gotta like look around more and start to notice things, and then you start to notice these weird things in the background. And just like Nicole just said, that's a lot of things with Insidious is on your second or third watch through, you notice a lot of shit that you would not have noticed, because obviously the main focal point of every time you watch a movie is on the main character. You're always supposed to look at that main character, but there's always shit in the
in the shadows or something.
I thought I saw stuff in the windows in that movie, like outlines and stuff, and it freaked me out, but I'm like, I'm just probably just imagining it, and there's never anything there. It's all by design.
Granted, like, you know, it's not the only movie that's done that.
Right.
Halloween did it, the very first one. It's
that's
like,
true.
You know how many times Michael Myers is actually in that movie, but you never see him because you're always looking at Laurie or you're always looking at the other characters.
Yeah.
Where, you know, Michael's been there the whole time, just in the background. Insidious did a really good job of planting. It does a lot of good job planting. It's for the second and third viewing, but it pays off big time.
And the first one does that cool thing that I hate, but also like when someone's trying to use like camera for either like light or something, they're like flashing to like just to see, but they also use the camera at the end of that one where you have to like take the photo, then like wait see what it saw, and like it does that
Yeah.
like fucking terrifying thing too, which is always fun.
Freaked me out with the twins in the hallway, and it's just like,
Yeah.
it just throws me off. So Insidious, I liked the first one. I'm excited to watch the second one and see what's going on there. And I'll report back next week with my thoughts on that.
Woo.
One, so.
If you hate that, see, I think it's Unfriended. I think Unfriended is the
I
one.
think I might have watched that one.
That does that. I think it's that one at the very end. That's all I'll say. And Rec does that too. I think it's either Rec or Quarantine that does that.
Oh, I think I did watch Unfriended.
Unfriended I've heard of, I didn't see. Moving on to my third one, just to keep us on pace here. Trick or Treat is absolutely phenomenal, and everyone should see it. I've talked about it before, so I won't like spend a ton of time on it, but it came out in 2009. It's an anthology, but it's loosely connected, so there's 3 different like stories that are woven in that are all connected through Sam, who's the sort of mascot of Halloween, if you will. It came out in 2009. It never actually had a theatrical release, and then sort of became a cult classic over the years, and is just now regarded as like one of the best Halloween sort of movies to watch. It's really enjoyable. It's definitely got a few vibes, like it's got some really good horror vibes, but I wouldn't say it's like scary. It's just kind of got like some kind of shocking moments, but it's more of like a fun Halloween brutal movie than it is anything that's like psychologically gonna scare you. But just an awesome movie. I highly recommend, and it's not long. It's like an hour and a half, so like it's worth the time. I believe it's on Netflix. I actually just saw it in theaters this year for the first time because they did a re-release.
I just bought it on Amazon the other day, like rented it.
You bought it? No, it's definitely.
I rented it.
I think it's free on something. Maybe I'm wrong though. I don't know. I've
on HBO.
It's HBO Max. That's what it is. Yeah, HBO Max. But I went to the theater and saw it a couple weeks ago. It was really cool to see it on the big screen. I really like everything about the movie. I think it's awesome, and I can't recommend it enough in terms of a
good one.
Did you end up actually watching it already?
Oh, I've seen it before.
Okay.
Friends the other night,
Yeah.
and we had it on while we were talking, so they're gonna go back and rewatch it. Because if you aren't watching that movie, every time you look up, you're like, "What the fuck is going on?"
Yep, it is a great movie. I mean, I like it a lot. It's super fun, and I highly recommend it. This music is great. I need to get a Sam like shirt or hoodie at some point. They're really expensive.
Get a hoodie where like you wear it backwards, but the hood up.
And the hood is Sam. Yeah, that's the move. All right, so that's mine. And then moving on to our finals. Ben, as you are our guest, I will give you the final first spot here. And whenever you're ready, tell us about your one of your last top here.
This is an easy one. This is probably my actual favorite horror movie. So I decided just to throw it in there. Nightmare on Elm Street Part 3, man. Dream Warriors, you cannot go wrong. This is the one that made Freddy Krueger what he is, in my opinion. The cocky son of a bitch that everybody knows and loves. He had some like quips and one-liners in the first movie. He's mainly a little butthole in the second one. Granted, the movie's just kind of bad as a whole anyway. But this is the movie that really solidified like why, in my opinion, everybody loves that franchise. It's just so great. Every single kill that Freddy gets is just so memorable. For me personally, the best one is gotta be the veins that he controls like a puppet. That shit fucked me up as a kid.
Yep.
So hard. And you get to see a young and spry Larry Fishburne. In the movie, he is actually credited as Larry Fishburne, not Lawrence. So it's pretty funny. I love that. And that's before he's Cowboy Curtis in Pee-wee's Playhouse. So
never seen it.
Little thing for you. But yeah, you can't go wrong. I went with an easy one with a classic, but this is one that I've always held near and dear to my heart. First movie I remember seeing as a kid was Nightmare on Elm Street, the first one. And it messed me up as a kid because one, my mom let me watch it when I was like 4 or 5. So the scene where Freddy's walking down the hallway and his arms are super long, and nowadays it looks pretty bad, but I still love it. We gotta separate ourselves. And then it just keeps building and building. It's one of those like, it definitely, you could make a comparison with what the hell's the bad guy's name from the new Stranger Things?
Vecna.
Vecna. Vilgax or whatever the hell his name is. You could definitely make some comparisons between the two. He's definitely Freddy Krueger adjacent, but especially with Robert Englund being in this season also, which got me super excited.
That was awesome.
Now I just have to say this: everybody has been saying they would really like Heather Langenkamp and Robert Englund to come back for, fucking Nightmare on Elm Street part, it would technically be 7 because you don't really count New Nightmare. Please, for love of God, don't do that. Don't touch it. Just leave it alone, right? I think Freddy is good, right? I don't think we need any more. There's things you just can't do anymore, and Freddy Krueger is one of those things.
Yeah.
I just don't think people could handle it. And I don't know. It's hard to explain, but because Freddy really messes with the person's biggest fears, and that a lot of the time is just stuff that you can't really touch upon in movies anymore. So I just think it would be a little off. But also, come on, Freddy's like fucking 800 years old, so leave him alone. So.
All right, yeah, also, I love this one. It's my favorite Nightmare on Elm Street. I think it's fantastic as well. Isaac said, Jack wannabe. This is Mr. Incredible. Like, what do you mean? You see the muscles going on here? Okay, Nicole, onto your last movie here, which I'm popping up right now, so bear with me a second. And whenever you're ready to go ahead and tell us about it.
I'm pretty sure I know what it is. I'm just waiting to double check.
Halloween Town 2 Electric Boogaloo.
Yeah.
Who knew?
Oh, that's a fun poster. I haven't seen that. I was like, if they hear you, they hunt you. I was like, that's not what I picked. No, I picked A Quiet Place. I guess it's counted as horror. When I looked up like horror Halloween movies, it was up there, and I was like, yeah. I was like, that was fucking great. I can talk about that one. I don't think this is my favorite Halloween or like horror movie. I don't really know what mine would be, but I wanted to definitely shout this one out. They did a really good job with, I don't know, I feel like I haven't seen anything like that in a while, and I feel like Bird Box came out afterwards, which might be a little bit comparable, or as far as like, I don't know, I feel like there's been things since A Quiet Place where I'm like, oh, that reminds me of Quiet Place, but I don't think at the time when I watched that, it reminded me of anything specific. But yeah, if you haven't watched it, the whole premise is, as the poster suggests, there is some kind of monster, alien thing, that can not see but can only hear, so the world is kind of plunged into this post-apocalyptic place where obviously a lot of people died, but yeah, you can't make any noise or they will find you and they will kill you. But yeah, centered around a family. It has Emily Blunt and oh my god, what's his real name? Not Jim.
John Krasinski.
Krasinski.
Yeah. And they're married in real life, so they have really good chemistry together. I don't think it's their real kids, but huh?
He directed the movie also.
Oh, did he?
Oh, yeah, you know, I think I knew that, yeah. And then, yeah, they did A Quiet Place 2, which is also very good. But, yeah, I definitely recommend watching the first one. It's a very silent movie, has you on the edge of your seat the whole time. And if you don't get to watch it in theaters, it's fine, but, like, there's something really cool about sitting in, like, a giant room with, like, not being able to, like, not much movie noise. So when there is movie noise, it's like, oh, shit, because you're not supposed to be hearing anything loud, so... But yeah, it's a very cool concept. Yeah, super, like I said, edge of your seat. Not really horror per se. I guess there might be a few jump scares, but the end of the movie is quite interesting. And I think everyone should watch it just to experience it.
Okay. Quiet Place. I haven't seen this one, but I've heard good things about
Really?
it. Yeah, I know Bird Box was kind of similar in terms of like execution, but... This was
just there being like a monster
that you can't see,
you know.
Or something.
Yeah, I can't see.
I think you couldn't look at them in Bird Box. You could something like that. Yeah,
right.
It was, but Quiet Place. Okay, and for my last one, this one's probably one a lot of people have seen. I am bad at graphics today. I'm sorry, guys. The second night of a back-to-back with this, I was bound to make some mistakes. It, which the 2017 version of It, not the Stephen King miniseries. It is easily one of the best it's easily, I have to say, it's one of the best, like, movies that I've seen in a long time. That's true. Pyramid Head is actually inspired by the boat from It, even though it came out many years prior. This movie is really, really fun because I'm scared of clowns, so it freaked me out generally. Like, I almost didn't want to see it because I do not like clowns. That's mean.
The dancing clown.
Pennywise is Pennywise! I can't do the dance or anything, but it's just sort of like this.
Please do.
Can you please try it?
You want to
please
try the dance?
it.
Wait, I know we're
I refuse to do anything else until you try
You're gonna kick something or rip your onesie.
So if I can do it there. Well, the onesie, at least I'm wearing clothes underneath, but it's sort of like a
Yeah, that's it.
He's become Dash from The Incredibles.
That's actually the perfect dance. You did it. I'm glad.
This is a very, very tight suit that I will never wear again. I am very uncomfortable. But it is awesome because it does have some horror vibes, but it's really like a story. You know, the kids kind of make the story. They're all coming together to fight the evil, and it's got the typical like 70s parents who are just like completely fucking devoid of any sense, and it's just a really, really fun, scary but fun adventure. I'd say it's more of an adventure horror than it is any kind of like an actual horror movie. But it and Chapter 2, which was really good. I know some people were a little bit down on it. Chapter 2 wasn't, in my opinion, as good as 1, but I thought it was way better than people gave it credit for. And even if there were a few silly parts, I think as a whole it was a great. I
like the casting choices they made a lot.
Yeah. I agree. Bill Hader, James McAvoy, that girl with the hair. I can't remember her name, but the movie as a whole was exceptionally.
Jessica Chastain or whatever.
Maybe it was Jessica Alba. I don't remember off the top of my head.
No,
I don't know who it was.
Nope. It was Chastain. I know.
They said Tim Curry always brings it. I never really saw the Tim Curry one. It was just weird to me. I was before my time.
I'm gonna drop some heat, and I'll take it. The original It's not good. Everyone, like, look at me. Hold on, I'm gonna get really up close with you. Ready? Face facts. The OG It is a bad movie. The only thing that's good about it is Tim Curry. Okay, that's it. Nothing else. It's a 3-hour-long fucking garbage movie, and it's a 2-parter movie, and it's boring, and you all know it. So shut up.
It's the Ocarina of Time of movies.
You are only here for Tim Curry's hot truck dump ass.
You missed that. He is Captain America level for sure. Okay, so that's going to wrap up that, and we are going to be wrapping up the show, but before we do, we just wanted to give Ben, who was very kind to join us, a brief spotlight to kind of talk about a few of his favorite horror movies. So, like I said, if you guys missed the beginning of the show and you aren't subscribed to him, check out Bonded by Horror on YouTube, check out Ben on Twitch, it's at ScroogeChamp. They do all kinds of stuff. He's going to be streaming Silent Hill right after this, so you can go check him out over there. Maybe he can throw a comment in the chat so you guys can directly link to his channel if you wanted to go over and see it.
My keyboard randomly
fair enough.
Stop working. I mean, I got it on my. Thank you, Nicole. Appreciate you.
Awesome. Okay, so if you want to give us a quick rundown of a few spotlight movies you think people should check out, I've got it up on the screen there, starting with Mandy, and you're good to go.
Okay, so we're gonna do some. This is randomly just like movies that I think people should really check out. This is my first one. Mandy's amazing. Like a literal 10 out of 10 movie for me. It's not a horror movie by like the pure definition. Like, yes, it has some scary elements to it, but my God, dude, this is why you get Shudder. Shudder is one of my favorite streaming services. It's like $4 or $5. Dude, if Shudder would pay me, oh my God, please, by all means. This is Nicolas Cage's renaissance. I don't care what anybody says. He's done this. He's done Willy's Wonderland, Pig. Dude, like, the massive weight of unbearable talent, or whatever the hell it. Nope, not unbearable talent.
The unbearable weight of massive talent.
Unbearable weight of massive talent. Thank you. Like chair stream. It's so good. But yeah, Mandy, very pretty. It's a very pretty movie. Lots of great visuals. Very beautiful shots. Just super fun action towards the end when Nicolas Cage snaps. I won't tell you anything about it. Just know it's a fucking awesome movie, and it's got some rad tunes in it that I really like. So if you know me, I'm a big metal head. I love it, like dad metal and shit. This is awesome. Right up like my alley. Love Mandy. Please check it out.
Okay, Mandy. I have never actually seen it, but I've heard good things about it.
So yeah, that seems sick. I probably would not have watched it because of Nicolas Cage otherwise, but that is a very good recommendation. So I'll add that. Oh my God, yes! Sorry, I just got excited. You're talking about VHS. This is a fucking great movie.
Another one. This is I really was trying to highlight movies that obviously aren't mainstream, but like with the name like Nicolas Cage, you thought it would be, but for some reason I've mentioned it before, and like some of my friends have never even heard of it.
Yeah, I've never heard of that.
Goddamn, VHS is great. This is probably my favorite found footage movie. There's some great ones like Blair Witch, Cloverfield, Wreck, Quarantine, which is Wreck, but the Americanized version of it. This one is the best. This is the best one. Just like it's an anthology of sorts that also ties in at the end. It's an underlying theme story woven in with some awesome VHS tapes that these characters watch, and it just has these amazing stories. I believe they might be all made by different directors. I'm not too positive on that. I might be confusing the ABCs of Death. I can't remember off the top of my head, but regardless, definitely watch it. They're all fucking awesome. The bicycle scene is literally one of the scariest things I've seen in horror. I'm just gonna outright say it. It's awesome. And then they just made a new one last year. I think it's VHS 94.
Yeah.
That's also on Shudder. Really good.
Gotta watch that.
And another one's on the way. So
nice.
Please keep making these. Like, for the love of God, if there was any sort of like indie, quote unquote indie, or like B horror movie that I would love to shout out, it's this. Please.
Okay.
For the love of God,
I read about it after you mentioned it to me earlier, and it seems very interesting and kind of all over the
Love
place.
it.
So
yeah, it's a good one.
Oh, I did that again. All right, next one is the Vivitch.
The Vivitch, the Witch. This is the last one, right? Before I say anything else.
Yeah.
Okay. This might be one of my favorite movies, not just in terms of horror or whatever the genre you want to call it. This might be one of my favorite movies ever. It's up there. I almost picked Hereditary, but I decided to go with The Witch instead. This is the movie that, in my opinion, really started that elevated horror trend. I hate using that term. I'm like Chris Stuckman. I fucking hate that term because it's so like patronizing and stupid. Don't be a douchebag. All movies, all horror, it should be elevated. That's the whole point. It should be elevated to their own design. It's folk horror, so it's taking this idea that these people who are very ignorant to the world. It's based upon Salem Witch, the Salem Witch hunts.
Oh, okay.
And it's about that, essentially, to boil it down. It's about this family. You know, there's some weird shit going on. One of them claims to be a witch, and then stuff just starts snowballing from there. It's one of those movies you have to sit down. You have to really pay attention to that dialogue because it's very old, trendy dialogue. Braden, oh, there we go.
My screen flashed out. Sorry.
No, you're good.
Go ahead.
A very old style dialogue. The guy Eggers did his research, and goddamn, it shows. He did this. He did Lighthouse, and same thing. Lighthouse is a 10 out of 10 movie. Love it.
I heard good things
and
about
did
that
Northman. You know what's weird is he actually doesn't like this movie.
Really?
I don't know why. Yep, he made this movie, and for some reason, he's like, you know what? I am starting to take it back a little bit. Don't know why.
Huh.
It's amazing. I think it started the elevated horror before Hereditary did, before Midsummer did, before Lighthouse. Actually, even before Nighthouse. That's another one. Wish I highlighted that also. If you ever have the time, just sit and just relax. Just sit, relax, pay attention to the movie. I promise you'll have a good time. And your opinion on certain horror movies will definitely change.
Okay.
Because then you could check out other ones like Borderlands and that's a movie. Meat Canyon actually, Papa Meat actually, thankfully mentioned that movie also. It has two names. I don't remember the other one. Really good though. 10 out of 10. Love it.
Sounds great. Okay. I wrote those down, so I'll
The
get
Vivitch. Definitely
Which is
check
on
them out.
HBO Max. VHS, I believe, is on Amazon Prime. I don't think it's on Shudder like the other movies are. And then Mandy's on Shudder. So
I actually have a tweet ready to put out after the show ends. It's a graphic with all of the movies that you recommended in the Spotlight segment and where people can find them. So I'll post them on Twitter. So if anybody is interested, you guys know where you could go to see them. Okay, so that's going to go ahead and wrap up the Spotlight segment. Thanks again to Ben for joining us. Check him out on Twitch. He's going to be streaming live right after we go off the air. And, of course, thanks again to Isaac for joining us last night because that was a lot of fun. And definitely it was cool to do these back-to-back shows, but it'll be nice, I think, to get back to some regular routine. I guess really just kind of what's left is what's on the horizon for you. We know Ben's going to start playing Silent Hill in just a couple minutes, but Nicole, what's going on with you?
besides playing Plague Tale, which I need to decide if I'm going to stick it out on Xbox or spend money for no reason on PlayStation. The Disney Dreamlight Valley game got an update today.
Oh, hell yeah.
It's still in early access, but I think they're trying to get the game to be at a very good point for its like full release next year. So they've done their first like major patch fix and content drop. So I popped in there shortly earlier. They added Scar to the game. And like all the characters are like minorly voice acted, so they do those things where you'll talk to them and they'll say like a word or like a noise or something, and like Scar, whoever they got, very good. None of the people are like legit, but some of them sound very good.
More than likely for Scar, they probably got Jim Cummings, because he can just do fucking everybody at this point. Is Winnie the Pooh in the game yet?
No, I wish. You know, there's a trophy to like invite or build 30 character houses, and I don't have nearly. I maybe have like 10. I don't know. So they have a lot of characters coming. Inside the castle, there's doors to go into the different realms, and I've done 4 of them, and there's like at least 20 other doors. So they have a lot of content planned. Yeah, it's just like a fun time killer. It's a game you can like put on while I'm like watching something else. But so yeah, I'll pop in for that update. And it is free to play.
No microtransactions or anything, right?
No, there definitely are.
there is.
Yeah, no, I know.
You don't need to do any of it, and a lot of it, even though it has a real-time clock, you would think like, oh, I'm gonna have to wait fucking like 3 days to do this simple task. Like the only thing that has like a clock is the crops, and it's really not even that long. Everything else, I'm like amazed at like how quick things are and how easy they are compared to things like Animal Crossing, and like I don't know, the functionality they gave this game is like leagues better than anything I thought Gameloft would give, having played one of their mobile games before. But so yeah, I'll be just jumping into Plague Tale. I gotta get that done before God of War comes out.
Damn. Okay. Well, yeah, no, hopefully Plague Tale's situation works out for you. Maybe we'll check in with you next week and see how everything's going. For me, don't really have anything inherently on the horizon. I'm hoping to edit a lot of clips from the past couple shows and get them posted. I know some people have asked. I will tell you guys just very briefly, next week's show is what I'm really looking forward to. It's going to be just Nicole and myself, and we are going to be doing a basically Halloween special / hangout. We are going to dress up, so it will be a costume show. And we will be doing a candy draft, which I'm very excited about. This is a concept that is not new to us, but I think we're going to have a fun take on it. And we're hoping to have the cheers and channel points set up by then so that you guys can interact as well with picks and share your own thoughts and all of that. And we're probably going to have to buy some actual candy, even though we're not filming it in the same place, to maybe snack on while we're filming, just to kind of get into it a little bit. So I'm really pumped for that. This has been a really fun month of shows, and you guys have been awesome. Thanks again to everybody for the subs today and people who followed. Thanks to Ben for joining us. Be sure to check him out. Thanks to Nicole for putting up with me as I did the Pennywise dance earlier. I won't bother clipping that. I'm sure no one wants to see it again.
Oh, you need to.
Well, come on. I need you to do that before you go into a diabetic shock next week.
That's true. That's true. Well, I do try to avoid the candy intake in a significant capacity, but we did it last year, and we'll do it again this year. So that's going to do it for us, I think. Thank you guys so much. Make sure to follow Nicole on socials as well as Ben. And if you're not following the podcast on TikTok, definitely do that, because that's where all the clips go first. And yeah, that's where my Pennywise clip will be.
Thanks for coming on, Ben. Definitely appreciated your view on things. Clearly, I'm not cultured, so it was great to have you on.
That's fine. That's the great thing is, once you get to open that door, it's this wonderful thing, and you know, then you'd be like, yeah, those are movies.
Yep, those are movies.
Those are movies. That's for goddamn sure. I don't know what this kid's seeing, but he sees it.
Hey, you're the expert on that, and we'll bring you back. We'll do another topic at some point for sure, and maybe we can.
I just like to point out, I like more than just horror movies too.
Wait, what? I thought that was your only interest.
I definitely do like. I mean, like, you know, I play video games. You know, I'm a dancer too.
Well, the trail of skulls outside your bedroom door seemed to indicate that you were just big into the horror stuff. But...
Well, no, that's just because I like murder. That's
okay. That makes me feel better. I'm gonna keep my door locked.
Just murder, yeah.
Yeah. I mean,
so when.
Go ahead.
Now, I was just going to say, when Brayden eventually disappears, nobody ask any questions, because there's going to be Ben and I, and just don't worry about it. Don't worry about where he went. Did he get murdered? Maybe.
Well, he probably just ate candy and just fell asleep. So.
True.
Hey, we made it through the worst candy show last year at eating a bunch of crap, and I was okay, so I think we'll be good. But, yeah, that's going to do it for us. Bike. I'm not doing that tonight. Probably just going to edit some clips and maybe just chill out a little bit. Have a great night. You guys rock. Thanks so much for watching. Thanks to the hosts. Thanks to everybody. We'll see you next week, and keep it spooky.
Bye.